Yo, what's going on? It's Toki, and this video is going to be a little bit different. I've been seeing a lot of requests for tips on YouTube and like YouTube Shorts and TikTok. So I think I'm going to make this a compilation video of a bunch of tips that usually people in the higher elo, like, champion would know, but someone in the lower elo trying to get to there wouldn't know. So I feel like this is going to have some helpful tips. If you guys enjoyed the video at the end, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, comment, anything like that. It really helps. And with that, I'm going to take us into a custom game and we'll start off with the tips right away. So I think I'm going to segment this video into just general tips to start off, or like some barricade tricks. And then as we go on and on, we'll get into the more advanced type of tricks. So I'm just going to pick an operator like Zombie because she has impacts. So yeah, as we go deeper on, the tips will get more and more advanced. And if you guys do find something that you don't know, make sure to let me know, because it would mean a lot. So to start off, we're going to be going over just ways to prep a barricade if you want to get like a run out or like a spawn peek. So the first way, obviously, which I mean everybody should know, you punch the barricade open. 1, 2, 3 hits to open it, just like that. The barricade's open. So that's the first tip. It's going to be just melee prepping, just open it wide. It's not really a tip, more like just a general game mechanic. But that's when we start getting into more advanced ways of breaking it. So I'm going to re-barricade this. I'm going to show you. The second tip you can do is you can actually shoot the barricade open, which I mean, I'm sure you guys also know. I believe it takes around 19-20 bullets to open it. So we'll just do a check real quick. I have 12 bullets left. I had 31. That's quick math, and that would be 19 bullets to open. So, all right. So I put 19 bullets in my mag just to show you. I'm gonna shoot open the barricade. 2 bullets. 1, 2. Now it breaks on the 19th bullet. So that means if you want to prep it, you can shoot it 18 times. Honestly, what I see other content creators like Pigeon, who kind of, in my opinion, he kind of made this more popular, is he would just go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He would just go, just spray it. And you would just kind of get accustomed to feel like when it's about to break. Obviously, you don't want any of these slits in there though. And like if you see if someone's getting on hookah, it's this fully barricade, you just shoot it a couple times, you run out, you kill them just like that. So that's the second way to prep a barricade, just by shooting it. So now onto the more like advanced methods. So I'm gonna be using this. This barricade for this example. So a lot of people don't know, when you hit this barricade open, I'm not gonna hit it yet. But like when you hit it open, it makes that noise of you breaking it. But if you want it to be quieter, especially if there's still glass on this window, not all maps have glass, but make sure you are also, as a defender, shooting glass out of the windows, because that way you can hear easier if an opponent's repelling near or something. But assuming there is glass or not, honestly doesn't matter. You can shoot this slit here, and you can punch this twice, and you punch it twice, and now you can vault through the window. So yeah, break the glass too. It's honestly way quieter if you want to go for like a run out or something. You'll probably catch somebody off guard with it. You can do it also. This is kind of another tip for like an extension onto this. So it's not prepped or anything. I'm gonna shoot 2 slits here, and you can actually hit it here as well, and you're able to vault it just by hitting it on this side too. See, now I'm vaulting it just like that. Obviously, that's more of an attacker-sided way to do it, as you can't really see the buckles when you're outside. So if you just shoot these 2 slits, just be careful. Obviously, if someone's peeking this, you're just gonna die. But you can hit. I kind of fucked that up, but you can hit this twice. You could just vault in just like that. So if you want to quickly just take something, or like rush into sight on some like crazy fucking Ring 2.0 type shit, TDM meta, all that, that's just another quick way to do it. On to the next way. This is kind of more of like a hybrid way of everything I've teach you, and you could do this on both attack and defense. Like say you run out, or you're trying to get into the building, you'd hit this barricade, you'd shoot the side, and you can vault in just like that, because when you shoot this side, you now just make it vaultable. That's just how the game works. I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea about like the specifics behind it, the in-game mechanics on how it works, but it just does. So that's another way you can enter the building or exit. If you get like a run out and you don't have a way back in quick, that's just a quicker way to do it. There's also just the typical, I do a run out, I'm killing somebody, just impact my way back in or out, obviously. It's kind of a surprise, but I mean, once you hear the impact, people just expect the runouts. That's just how it is. Now to this next tip for the barricades, there's also just the standard, you can you punch. I kind of messed up there, but you can just punch it and you can crouch walk in and out. You kind of have to familiarize yourself with the timings. Obviously, I kind of messed up, so I had to shoot this like the slit that was poking out. So it does work on single and double doors, and doesn't make the noise of you fully opening the door like when it fully breaks down. So if you wanted to do like some run out over on runes, you'd get on the cam, you'd see somebody here. You could prep this just like that. Walk right through it, crouch, and now they're dead. You can also sit in, you could sit in this barricade. So there's some runouts where you could just sit in this barricade and just listen with your audio. And then as soon as you hear, just come out pre-fire. But a nade will be your demise here if they know what you're doing. But usually this will catch someone off guard, considering on their screen they still see that it's open because they can't see past these bars. They can only see the top, so they can still see that it's closed. Actually, is what I meant to say. And it'll really catch someone off guard. And if you need to sprint back in quickly, you could just hit it the third time, just like that, back in, easy like that. And for one of the last barricade preps, a lot of people didn't know that you can shoot the slit in a window without breaking the glass. I'm pretty sure Uzi does this a lot, and I'm pretty sure he's what made this kind of popular too. But if you shoot the slit on the side, it doesn't break the glass, as you see there. You could just get like some nice little spawn peek going here. And it's kind of harder for them to see because the glass isn't broken. And they also won't hear it because, like I said, in this game, if the glass isn't broken on both sides, it's harder to hear anything. So you shoot the slit there, shoot on this side too. Obviously, I broke the glass earlier, so it's like not there. But I would honestly incorporate this into just most of your gameplay when you're doing this, because as soon as you shoot the glass out, that makes a lot of noise. Now, this tip isn't really a barricade tip or anything. It's mostly just like a tip on when you want to like go for these like runouts or whatever. So if you're having trouble getting those audio cues right or the timing right on your runouts, you can actually use Solace. She's one of the newer defenders in Siege, and her gadget, it basically is like IQ on defense. You could see all the utility on the map, like from attackers, like drones. You could see claymores. You could see people on cams. You could see the case. You could see all that. And honestly, just a really good operator in general. But you can prep the barricades with any of the ways I taught you with Solace too. And you could see who's on their drone. You could see what claymores is there and all of that. You can get rid of that, pre-fire it, and kill the enemy. And that's going to be the barricade tips. Now we're going to move on to like more just the overall gameplay tips. And as we get deeper in, we'll go deeper into that concept. So with that, let's continue. So now we're here on Cafe. And I'm going to be going into the more like rank 2.0 type related tips, or just ranked in general. I said 2.0 because as we all noticed, there are issues with the ranking system, which I won't be discussing right now because that's just my opinion. Some may disagree. I feel like most will agree though. But moving on, I know that we are in like more of a TDM meta, and it's like swing or be swung in this type of meta. But I do feel like setting up sight and using your utility is still as important. So for this tip, honestly, this is the most generic tip I can give you to start off. But please, when you're on defense in prep phase, please reinforce walls. If you're new to Siege, you wouldn't know. But back in the day, it wasn't pooled reinforcements. Everyone used to just get 2 walls. And you would be held accountable mostly if something wasn't reinforced and you had walls left. It'd be 2 walls per person. Now that they added pooled reinforcements, I feel like people have gotten more lazy with reinforcing, considering others can do it. But some people do have a lot of site setup to do in prep. So if you're picking Warden, you're just running around fucking Shaco peeking the fucking staircases, or just peeking like snow door or some shit when prep phase instead of reinforcing. Like, honestly, man, that's messed up you as a teammate. This is a team-based game, you have to remember. And even though, once again, we are in a TDM meta currently, hopefully things change. Utility is still important, guys. It is still very important. So walking up to them walls, hitting F or whatever your keybind is to reinforce them, it helps in the long run too. Because if you think about it here, if you're not reinforcing these walls and say no one gets these fucking ticket walls here, if you try to get them mid-round, the chances of you dying are a lot higher than just getting them in prep phase where no one can fucking shoot you. And honestly, you really just don't want that to happen. And you'll be a lot safer as a player if you just reinforce these walls in the prep phase and get it over with. Also helps whoever has to set up site with setting up site. Because if you are the type of player who's running around fucking, like I said earlier, just walking around jerking your fucking dick in prep phase doing nothing, and you die and you're like, oh, why is there no holes here, why is there no rotate? And the poor smoke player after you die spawn peeking is like, well, I had to go reinforce ticket, I had to go make fucking trash holes, I had to go reinforce the freezer walls, I just haven't got to the rotates yet. You know, that's honestly, I feel like that's not his fault. He's doing the best he can to set up site, and you aren't. So that's where you just need to learn to set up site. That's one rank 2.0 tip. Let's get on to the next. So the next tips I'm going to give you are going to be more mechanic-wise, and they can help you in your gunfights a little. And this first tip is going to be stop peeking with your meat in your angle, bro. Like, you see how close I am to this door? You may think you're holding a pixel, bro. But when you're peeking this angle and you're this close to this goddamn door frame, they're going to be able to see so much more of you than you could see of them. And you're just going to get fucking one-tapped off this angle, and you're going to be like, oh, they're cheating, bro. How can they see me? I'm holding a pixel. But in reality, I'll put up a picture on screen of what this looks like, just holding this angle really close. Whereas if you were to just back up, or a better idea, if you were to back up into cover, you could hold this angle right here. This is a much better angle to hold, while this specific one may be a little more common. The chances of you being seen are much lower than if you were just have your fucking dick in this door frame, peeking this angle wide as hell. But that'd be the end for this tip of just, you know, just start peeking angles more farther away from the angle rather than closer. And on to the next tip. So my next tip is gonna be more for the players who like to rat, or like they like to prone in mid gunfights. If you take a gunfight, you just randomly just go prone just like this. You see how loud that is? Like, listen. It's really loud. Proning in this game is one of the loudest noises, I think, movement-wise, besides falling off of something. So if you're gonna prone, or if you're gonna fall off something, like if you need to, one thing you're gonna want to do, which you might have seen in my previous videos if you're a viewer of mine, would just be to shoot a few bullets on your drop. So, see, I drop, but I'm shooting a couple bullets. It kind of masks the sound a little better. See, that second time was a lot more better. Like if I prone, see, it's loud as fuck. But if I shoot, there's a couple bullets on my way down. It masks the sound of you proning a lot more. Obviously, I have a suppressor on, but I mean, you get the point overall. It still does mask it. So then they won't expect you to be prone rather than just you prone and you're loud as fuck and they swing this corner like, oh, they know you're prone. They pre-fire you prone. You're dead. God damn it. I fucking wasted my impact again, dude. Oh my lord. 1 damage. Alright, sick. Oh, another quick tip while I'm trying to end my life and go to attack is you do run faster with your secondary out rather than your primary. So if you are in like a situation where you need to take space fast and you know that nobody's there, or you need to get back to site really quickly and you know it's clear, you're good to just take your pistol out and just run, sprint it over. It does save you a couple seconds, which you probably will love to have in the end. And if you're in a gunfight and you have no ammo in your primary, just remember, like Gas from Modern Warfare 2 said,
remember, switching to your pistol is always faster than reloading.
With that, let's get into the next tip. Okay, honestly, I thought that would work. So since Dokkaebi is getting popular lately because DMRs are pretty good in this game, they're really good. And she has an SMG sidearm and the calls, which are really annoying. I'm going to be giving over some tips on how to play against and how to play with her. So let's start with the against. With Dokkaebi, when you kill somebody, I'll get in here real quick. I have to put it up on screen because I don't actually have another player with me. When you kill somebody and you get their phone, you hack their phone and see the cameras, right? But did you know that as a defender, you can actually shoot your dead teammate's phone and it will break the phone so Dokkaebi can't access it in hack cams. See, that way, you can kind of prevent all your cameras from being stolen from Dokkaebi, and you can just deny her utility in total. So one thing that's kind of like sleeper knowledge too that a lot of people don't realize is when Dokkaebi does her call, or when like a line scans, if you stand on a mute jammer or near the mute jammer's radius, your phone will automatically turn off and the scan will not pick you up. And the reason why is because the mute jammer, as its name is, it pretty much mutes or jams the utility. So if you put the mute jammer near a nomad, it'll block the nomad, or if you stand on it like I'd said previously, it'll block Dokkaebi from calling you, so you don't have to pick up the phone, you don't have to waste your time. Same with the line scans. I do believe Vigil also used to be able to counter Lion with his ERC7 cloak. They did change Vigil as of recently, so I'm not really sure. I'm going to do some testing and let you guys know. I'll probably put it in a subtitle, but that was also a way to counter a line scan. Just basically any utility that's like electronic, same with, you know, hard breaches, etc. Mute jammer just stops it. And now I'll be getting on to the second tip, which is kind of a sleeper tip as well. A lot of people don't realize it until I say it, and then you're going to be like, oh, it makes so much sense. And that tip is going to be to use the gun and take the fight with the gun that is best for the fight. So let me go a bit more in depth. So let's say there's somebody in E2 here. If I'm going to try to fight the guy E2, or at least like hold him for a bit, like hold his cutoff, I don't want to be peeking this with SMG-11 because it's too far. And, you know, it's a little hard to control this gun at that range, you know. But the DMR, long range weapon, 1.5, etc. It'd be easier to hold him. So I could sit here, I can hold this angle, pop, pop, pop if he comes out, etc. So now let's reverse the situation though. Instead of a long angle, let's go to a close angle. So say I want to fight somebody who's in this teller's office. I don't really want to swing them. If they're like in this hard right corner, I don't want to swing them with this DMR because then it's a harder gunfight for me and it's a single shot weapon. So I kind of have to just hit my shots and pray for the best because I have that 1.5 on too. It's a little zoomed in. But if I'm swinging with my SMG-12 and he's in this hard right corner, I could just swing. I could pre-fire. I have a bunch of my peripheral vision still. My gun isn't blocking that much. I could just swing and I could take the fight way easier than just with this DMR. And I can kind of spray and pray more with this SMG-12 because it's a close quarters weapon. And now you're kind of understanding to see what I mean by take the gunfight with the weapon that's suited best for you. Hopefully that tip was able to help you out a little bit. And now I'm going to go on to the more advanced type of tips. I'll see you there. And for these next tips, I'm kind of just going to try to rapid fire them a little bit because they're just kind of mechanical type tips that'll kind of help you in the long run. And to start off, this first tip might hurt some of your guys' egos or pride or whatever. And to be honest with you, I'm here to help you improve. I'm not here to help you fulfill your ego and sit there like a crybaby talking about how good you are at the game or what rank you were what rank you hit, how many seasons ago. I'm going to be honest with you, I do not care. So the first tip I'm going to be giving you is to stop being a dog shit random. And you're probably going to be sitting here like, Tokester, how do I do that? How do I stop being dog shit? Well, that's why I'm here. I'm just going to let you know how. So start off, let's get right into it. So the first thing you want to do to stop being dog shit at this game would be to stop aiming at the fucking mantle core of the goddamn Earth's crust. Like, bro, there's nothing for you on the floor. What are you, sniffing for fucking drones? People who keep their crosshair normally level to the floor need to realize that the game you're playing isn't COD, where aim assist may help and may help you, you know, get that body shots that you need or headshots or whatever. But this game is one-shot headshot. So you want to be aiming head level. Aiming at the floor does nothing for you unless you're shooting drones. That's just crosshair placement. If you're just waiting for the drone to pass by, I can kind of understand that. But if you're trying to take a gunfight with somebody, you really don't want to be aiming fucking prone level unless you get a call out or you know, or have the information to know that they're prone. So a quick tip that'll help you aim head level is on these barricades, there are these buckles, and you start aiming at this level. This will kind of help you out at keeping your crosshair kind of head level, and you can naturally get a feel for it the more you start playing the game. But now that you go into the problem of, I'm aiming head level and I'm still dying. Now there's a couple of things here which I can help you with. So the first thing, even though you're aiming head level, there's not always a time where someone's going to peek you standing. A lot of people in Siege, especially in the lower ranks, they love to shoot and just crouch every time. And with that, you don't want to be crouching every time you take a gunfight, bro, because once people realize that, they're just going to counter you. If they know you're going to crouch, when they fight you, they're probably just going to aim lower a little bit, and then you're dead, just like that. So that'll help you out a little bit more. Just stop crouching in every gunfight. It's okay to mix it up, you know, like if you're going for a little quick peek, and they're going to pre-fire you standing, so you crouch tap just like that. Now they're dead. They're fucking crying about how the game's so shit, and they just died behind a wall. They got ghosted. Oh well, boo-hoo. And now there's the next part, which is, are you constantly trying to aim for the head mid-gunfight? Not every gunfight lasts a half a second where you just quick peek one tap and they're dead just like that, like your fucking Spoid or Bolo or fucking Brios or some shit. You just gotta realize that if the gunfights last a little longer, you still want to be aiming for the head. And if they crouch or whatever while you're fighting them too, you do want to be still aiming for the head while you're in that gunfight and taking it actively. Because some people are going to be aiming head level and they take a gunfight and then they start just shooting the body and they don't start to go for the head still. But then you do realize the more body shots add up, sure, it'll do a lot of damage and it'll end them. But if you just hit the head once, rather than hitting the body 4 times, they're just dead, just like that. So to summarize, basically aiming for the head while you're still taking that gunfight too, and while you're behind cover, because you don't want to be swinging this wide out of cover. Like, this is just bad, which I'll be getting into shortly. But I feel like that will definitely help you elevate your gameplay. And now I'll be on to the next things, which are bundled up just like the last two, which would be common angles and like crosshair placement on those common angles and good posture. So you might have noticed while I've been walking around and like explaining these concepts and tips, you've been noticing whenever I peek CC, I'm not aiming head level here. I'm aiming up here. And the reason why is because when you play the game more, you start to learn the more common angles that people like to sit in. So aiming head level, while it is a good option, it is not always the best option. Because you aim head level and someone's on the boosted angle here, you're just dead. And that's just as simple as that. Because they have an angle onto you and they could just pop your head just like that, whereas you have to flick up to try and fight them too. So there isn't really a better way for me to explain to you how to find these common angles and how to start knowing where people are going to be playing, other than just these couple of things, which would be 1, playing the game, 2, watching other people play the game, like Twitch streams and pro players or competitive players, and watching what they aim at, and 3, which would be in a warm-up type of game mode, like a T-Hunt or something. In reality, I feel like the best way for you to get hands-on experience would be just to play the game. And I kind of rambled on about that topic, so let's get more into posture. So posture is going to be more of, if you've watched any like basketball type of content or anything like that, you might be familiar with the term heat check. In basketball, it's more like when you're feeling yourself and you take a shot and you just straight miss. You needed a heat check there, and that's just like a reset. So a lot of people who play like competitive and stuff, they do call like reset, or maybe in your ranked games you can call it reset too. That's when everybody takes a breath, they take a second, they reset their gameplay back to whatever pace they were playing previously, and they're not heated up fucking feeling like they're Warden with the 1.5. Let's say I'm peeking the guy who's rafters and I just fry him, right? And I'm feeling myself now, right? I'm about to get jiggy with it. So I start fucking peeking this guy top east and I start getting crazy with it, or I swing out really fucking wide and I try to get an off angle on this fucking top east guy, which this is a really bad angle. And someone swings me 90 and I'm just fucking dead, just like that. That's where I needed a heat check. You just gotta keep in mind consciously not to peek dumb shit or not to get over aggressive for no reason, because that's when you're just throwing your body at that point. So just remember, when you take your gunfights, just take a breath, get 1 kill, realize, should I be peeking this? Just ask yourself that. Should I be peeking this? If the answer is no, probably because, you know, you're a defender, you have body count, etc. You don't need to get aggro for a pick. You're not short a man. So just reset. Take a heat check. Just come back and start playing normally again. Play with the reset. Having good posture relates to that, but it's a little more in depth to that as well. For another example, let's say you fight the guy top piece, you get the kill, right? And you feel yourself, and now you swing wide as fuck on this guy. This is bad posture right here. Or you kill the guy and you peek hip firing instead of ADS on this guy, and he swings you in dead. You weren't really ready for the gunfight, but you were feeling yourself, so you just swung it anyways and you know, took a 50-50 chance. That's where posture comes in. So with posture, you want to utilize your positioning while still being aware of whether you're heating up or not. So an example of good posture would be more like, I kill the guy top east, I know one's 90, and I'm feeling myself, that's okay. If I know I'm better, I'm feeling confident or whatever, I'll peek it. But I'm not going to peek it fucking wide as shit like this. I'm going to readjust my posture back with the door frame, and I'm going to peek it with an angle that'll help me win the gunfight over just peeking it wide as fuck like some dumb shit. That would kind of help your posture just a little bit more. So like, kill that guy, you swing top east, kind of like wide as fuck. By the time you're like this, you're just dead if someone's on this door. So let's say you kill this 90 guy after killing the top east guy with good posture. Now you're feeling yourself even more, feeling way more confident. If you're going to peek this break guy, you want to peek him already ADS, you know? Good posture. Or maybe get an angle like this if top east isn't open. That's having good posture there. The way to work on that, literally the best way, is to just consciously remember it. If you consciously drill it into your mind, it'll become muscle memory to you, just like that. That's going to be my tips on good posture, common angles, and crosshair placement. The next thing I'm going to go into, more mechanic-wise too, is when you're taking gunfights, how you're reacting with your body. Now, have you ever been really nervous or really pressured in a gunfight, and you're taking a very easy fight for you, but you just whiff the easiest shots of your life? The reason that you're probably whiffing those shots that are very easy to get, so that can actually burn down to a few reasons. My number one reason that I like to tell people, you may not realize it, but while you're taking a gunfight, you're probably tensing. Let's say you're about to swing this guy. You have your pistol out, you're about to swing this guy, and you start tensing. You may notice that you start to shake a little bit, and you feel more resistance trying to aim, and because of that, you start whiffing. So the few reasons I could boil down to that is 1, tensing, and 2, you stop looking at the enemy and start looking at your crosshair more because you get nervous. So the quick way to fix tensing would be to just remember to consciously relax your hand and relax your wrist and your forearm. Even when you're nervous, just consciously remind yourself to relax your arm, and your aim will probably be so much better and smoother if you're playing a higher sensitivity. But if you're detensed and you're taking the gunfight, you probably won't be whiffing those easier shots anymore. Sometimes whiffs do happen too, even when you're detensed, and that could just boil down to your mouse control and sensitivity. So I'm going to go more in depth into mouse control, which would just be a self-explanatory definition, just how much control you have over your mouse and like your raw aim, for example, and that sensitivity. So let's get into ways you can find out if your sense is too high or low for you. You only really need to 180 at most in Siege. And if you are 180ing in Siege to take gunfights, your positioning is probably really fucked up. There are times where it happens. You don't need a 360. It's really not necessary. But just pick what you feel like could be comfortable 180ing at minimum, actually. Because then multiple swipes gets kind of really bad for you. Now, let's get into ADS sensitivity values. Now, the way you can tell if your sensitivity is too high or too low for you is just by going in a T-hunt, backing up like maybe like 15 meters or something, and just start shooting at a wall. If I shoot at this wall and I'm dragging down like this when I take gunfights, I need to lower my sensitivity. Either that, or I need to consciously remember, if you're really stubborn and you don't want to lower your sensitivity, I need to remember to drag down less on certain operators or certain recoil, you know? If I'm dragging down, but I'm not dragging down enough, and my recoil is going to fucking Shaquille O'Neal or Yao Ming's height, then I need to start dragging down more. I need to consciously remember to drag down more. But the easier cheat code to all this recoil spray patterns too, is literally just by playing the game, learning the gun, learning the recoil, the spray pattern, and then fine-tuning your sensitivity for what's comfortable. So for the end of the tip, I just want to throw this disclaimer out there. Please don't crank up your sensitivity to the max on ADS and hipfire and think you're like fucking Ambi or Jolly or something. You gotta remember, these guys, they've played on that sensitivity all their life, and they're used to the faster sensitivities, and they have the mouse control to control it. Because if you go on their sense, you start shaking like a motherfucker, and you take your gunfights, it's not going to be good for you. But they're so used to it, so they can play their sensitivities with minimal shaking, and they have the mouse control for it. If you don't have the mouse control, I really do not recommend you hopping in your ranked games and playing on the high sensitivity you can and think you look flashy and whatever. Remember guys, flashy movement does not make you a good player. Please do not overdo it and start looking like you're a fucking Newers or Bolo or Shaiko or some shit. Any player that's decent at the game will have secondhand embarrassment watching you play if you crank your sense to the max and start acting like you're a movement god or whatever. So that's going to be it for the tip video. If you did learn something new, please make sure to drop a like and comment saying what you learned and maybe if it helped you. Be sure to come back to this video. It'd be really nice and I really appreciate the support. Thank you. I appreciate you all, and that's going to be it. Have a good one.